What is up, guys? Hello, hello, hello. Um, the audio is here. We're good. We're good. We're good. Woohoo! Yeah. Again, welcome. Real quick, guys. Bringing this to your attention now. We'll talk about it later. But breaking news out of the mainstream media outlets of the world. Today is September 28th. CNN reporting prosecutors demand Amazon information on the purchase of the knives. What is going on in Moscow? We thought that we got some of these returns. I'm going to pull out all the big old stack of search warrants and the inventory return. But prosecutors are demanding that Amazon gives, the info up. Well, so my guess is that Amazon didn't give it up. Again, prosecutors in the case of Brian Kohlberger, the man in charge in the fatal stabbings of the 4 University of Idaho students, demanded customer information from Amazon related to the purchases of knives as part of their investigation. According to newly unsigned court documents, well, duh, we all knew that. Kohlberger faces 4 counts of first-degree murder in the November 13th killings of the 21-year-olds, Kaylee and Maddie, and then the 20-year-olds, Ethan and Xana. So what's the problem here? Prosecutors obtained search warrants earlier this year for customer accounts at multiple companies, including Amazon, Apple, and PayPal. The name of the customer is redacted from the documents, along with details of what was found. Information demanded from Amazon in May included all detailed customer click activity pertaining to knives and accessories. So I'm wondering, they want click activity. That means if I just clicked on that product and not bought it, but if I was to just click on it. So they're demanding this information. These are newly unsealed documents. Again, we're going to discuss all of this later, but I wanted to let you guys know what was being talked about. Again, information demanded from Amazon in May included all detailed customer click activity pertaining to the knives and accessories. Investigators received information from Amazon in June, the court documents show. Apple and PayPal also sent information requested in the warrants, according to the documents. Okay, so you have this information. Now, can you believe that these search warrants weren't done before arresting Brian Kohlberger? This was all stuff done after the arrest of Brian Kohlberger. So what did I'm only speculating here. What did the returns on the first set of search warrants that you sent out, what came back then? My guess is absolutely fucking nothing. So now we're going to go into the click activity, So I want to look into, and I'm going to ask some people what click activity could mean in terms of that doesn't sound like you purchased something. That means I clicked on it and I was reading the product. That's kind of desperate right there. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that smells, tastes, looks like desperation. Again, we'll move on. We're going to talk about it all later. CNN reached out to Amazon and Apple and PayPal for comment. Kohlberger's DNA is a status. It's a stat. It's a stat. It's matching. Statistical stat match. So what was it? 99% for DNA found on the sheath of the knife at the crime scene, according to court documents. Prosecutors demand Amazon information on the purchase of knives in case against. So, again, this is all stuff that came out afterwards, not the initial stuff. Oh my God, the things I've clicked on Amazon. I know, talk about all the sex toys. But they don't get to get that information. He returned the knife sheath, and it was bought by another. What if that happened? You know what? Fuck this knife. I'm returning it. You guys, basically what this is telling me is they put in their search warrants. The stuff that first came back, there was nothing there. They had to dig deeper. They had to go deeper. And at that point, you're like, okay, here, can we get this? Can we get that? And which is all fine and dandy. But the prosecution demanding Amazon to tell us, well, didn't they already do that? I'm under the impression that they already did that. So to me, this doesn't seem like it's new unless we're talking about the clicks. So unless there's a way to say, like, this is what this person was clicking. I don't know. I don't even know why it would be and how you would possibly be able to say that, oh yeah, they were searching this. They wanted to get it. They were looking at it often, and then they just went out and bought one themselves somewhere else. I don't know. At the very end of the day, I think everybody in Idaho that's on that campus that are men and females, they seem to be infatuated with knives. So I think all of those people would be doing stuff like that. That's just me. K-bar isn't the knife they are looking for. That's why. Possibly. What if his clicks? Well, so like when you do this request, by the way, it has to be very, specific. So my guess is that it's clicks that's only to do with knives. I'm guessing that Brian's Google search didn't bring back what they were hoping for. That tells me that his Google search was definitely not what they needed more. This is reaching. Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck this is, to be honest. This is crazy. The clicks. When you got to go to that means there's nothing there. You don't need to be asking what clicks are. What does clicking prove? Yeah. What about my click? What about my doja? Wonder why they have to demand from Amazon. Is Amazon not cooperating? It could also just be the language that they want to use. Mainstream media. Hi, Boston. Hi. Again, this is just my way of introducing this material because I have a lot to say about it later. Because I actually talked to Scott Roeder last night too, because I haven't had him back on to talk about this, like, yo, bro, there's no blood in this car. I want to talk about this blood. Because if in fact Brian Kohlberger is the guy, how do they make sure that they can get him after all their fuck ups? Like, that's not justice either. You don't want someone to get away with something, So like, if there's anybody that maybe could find a way to legally, get someone like Brian Kohlberger, like, I think that I have a knack for finding things, but the track record of these employees, just there's no bones in my body right now that want to help them. Unless they want to help Dr. Moore. So go ahead and help Dr. Moore, and then I'll help you. I love seeing your face this morning. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hey, you did great on Drunk Turkey. Oh, thanks, H-Bag. Loved your debate with Drunk Turkey. Well, I think he's coming on tonight to debate me, which I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit because we didn't get to the good enough, like, parts of, like, I want to talk about trial. I want to talk about how do you plan on proving any of your case? And I mean, they believe that PCA is the gospel. So, and you're going to have to live and die by that PCA. But you can't just put a car in the middle of the road and say this is Brian Kohlberger. I'm sorry. You just can't. You just can't do that. You can't say Brian Kohlberger was over there and now he's over here, but we have no way to prove that he did anything. I mean, and then why he shut off his phone. I want to see the data. I want to see the data on all that. I want to see Brian's phone, being commanded. Everything that they showed in that Murdoch trial, if that's what can be said nowadays, then that's what's going to be shown in this trial. And I don't think it's going to be good for the prosecution. What email can I send you all? Detective work, Banfield. There are people in the trees. Oh my God. They're in the trees. Oh shit, girl. I get your emails. Keep on sending them. That's funny. They trust the system way too much. God, that made me laugh there. Is it Tara or Tara? That made me laugh. Everybody is in the trees. Oh, that was great. Loved it. Yes, they can't unsee anything. You're right about that. I feel someone made a copy of his plate. You guys, fuck the plate. Fuck the license plate. Like, after what I'm about to expose in the Dr. Moore case in these next couple weeks, so I'm taking a little trip here. Yeah, if you want to donate to my trip efforts, go right ahead. What I'm about to start showing everybody is these investigators took like 18 cameras that were like spread all over the county, this whole county, and they said that they narrowed this the span of time. And I mean, I have it over here, and where they put all these cameras, and it's on a spreadsheet, and it's like an Excel spreadsheet. It's like my heaven, like fucking yeah, bring it on. Like, let me dissect this. Well, I already found 4 mistakes, like that I think are obvious, but and they're saying that this vehicle is him, okay? But yet you cannot make out any, there's no license plates. There's this footage, you cannot tell anything. And if this is any indication of what they did in the Brian Kohlberger case, okay, you would think that on paper, wow, this looks really good, right? Well, until you realize that these cameras are off, they're not on the right times. But more importantly, they just put them in the wrong fucking order. Like, how do you not know that 750 comes after 745? Like, how is that camera put before the 745 camera? So if it, in fact, you're seeing it in that order, how can that truck be over there? Again, wild. It's because at the end of the day, somebody has to manually extract the data and put it together and then present it. So you're going to have and there's a lot of work into that. But so I'm watching all of this and been working it, and I'm like, dude, this is wild. This is wild. And you're going to sit here and say that you have this guy that has no connection to these girls, okay? And you're just going to pick a car and say, okay, he was driving. Okay, great. Yeah, you should see his car at WSU. Now, how are you going to say that car that you saw at WSU is the same car that you're going to say is in Moscow at, X amount of time? You fucking can't. You have to be able to seriously prove that. And if you can't do it with license plates, then, is it the car? And then why wouldn't that car be the one that's being shown to FBI to, label what it is? And then when Ann Taylor told us, and said in a motion and said, wait a second, the earliest report that we see is an FBI guy doing something on March 21st of a report. This was hella after he was arrested, talking about what type of car it is. Okay. Where's the reports of it, like in, November, December, before you arrest him, to make it so that your probable cause is, what it is? And again, to hear people say that that's a defense tactic. What's a defense tactic? What is a defense tactic? I don't understand. Me writing in that what came first? You following Brian Kohlberger or being on his trail because he has a white Elantra that you found, or that you had his tip from the FBI off of IGG stuff? I just don't get it. It's a very simple question. And so what is it? And if the defense is asking those questions in June after you arrested this man in January, why are they still asking those questions? That means it's not there in the discovery. It means it's not. I mean, what came first? How did you start? What made you start focusing on Brian Kohlberger? Nobody says his name. Nobody even fucking knows this man exists. No connections to these girls or Ethan. I mean, I also don't understand how you do an investigation after you arrest somebody. I mean, you're going to ruin somebody's life if you arrest them for murder. Like, they're never coming back from that. Even if they were to be acquitted, I'm sorry. You're gonna have everybody out there that's gonna be saying what? No, they just got off. Oh my God. Like, you don't come back from that. Their families don't come back from that. And then to hear that Daniel said that no, that they weren't following him, that they did not know about Brian Kohlberger until December 19th. So you think that all of this happened between December 19th and December 29th? If they did not know about Brian Kohlberger until December 19th. Wow, these motherfuckers must be Superman. That's not what the evidence shows at all. That's not what any of these motions say at all. At all. You wouldn't need to work backwards. If you just found out who Brian Kohlberger was in, December 19th, all right, then you would have worked forward from that point, all right, from there. This case, they had to work backward. That's what it shows. His life is ruined either way. Yep. What if they got his name from when we got the yeah, that's when I think it was. Yeah, 100. They knew who Brian Kohlberger was on 11/29. You know what I mean? When they found his vehicle. It says it in the PCA. He changed his license plate on November 18th. That's a very interesting day for me because it has to coincide with the first day that they ever started to look at the footage from the house 1112. He applied for that job in the spring. Whether he went out there physically or he was there on a Zoom, Brian Kohlberger met with the chief, whatever the fuck his name is, from WSU. But yeah, so we're going to have a lot to discuss, but this was just to get our whistles a little wet, guys, because prosecutors demand Amazon information on the purchase of knives. Okay, so that would be anybody, right? Is it the purchase of knives, period? Like anybody? Like what type of stuff are we going? Is it just Brian Kohlberger's purchases of knives? Anybody that lived in this zip code, Also, let me make sure that I got this right. We believe that Brian Kohlberger is a smart motherfucking dude, right? But we believe that he decides to purchase a knife on Amazon, use that knife to commit a crime drive all over town, being seen on every camera possible, but yet nobody sees him get out of the vehicle or get into the vehicle. So he's driving all over in his car. There's no blood, though, that gets in the car. But he's doing all of these things that would just be like paper trails left and right to him. Okay. And then he leaves his house with his phone on, decides to shut his phone off after 5 minutes of driving, then turns his phone on at like 4:48. I mean, then at some point, you guys, which I would think would be really, really early on, he would have known that he didn't have the sheath anymore. Think about this. If I'm walking out of the house with a bloody knife, which is it's just in my hand, or I just take a knife and I just put it in my pocket, so I walk out of the house with like this knife, right? And I would be like, it's like anything. Oh my God, I forgot my phone when you're leaving. Or like if you needed your like keys to drive your car, like when you would have gotten to your car, you would have realized, oh shit, where's my sheath? Right? And now you're going to decide, are you going to go back in there and get that? Because you can't leave that behind, right? Think about this. What if the sheath was never left behind? Is anybody arrested at this point? No. In my opinion, no. So how important is that sheath? It's very important. People are going to be like, well, he couldn't go back in there because why? Because Dylan saw him, damn it. The fuck out of here. No. I don't care if Dylan saw me. I need to go back in there. Or I'll kill her if I have to. I need to get that sheath, right? Maybe not. I would think that you would need to get that sheath. And I think that you would know about not having that sheath before you left up out of there. And that's my opinion, is that you would know about that sheath being left in there. And so you're thinking to yourself, fuck, that's the only mistake I made? And then I'm going to go back, drive over there that next morning. I don't know. I would just think I'd have to go back in there and get that sheath. I also, you would know that you didn't have it, right? How would you not know that you didn't have the sheath anymore? Because what are you doing with your knife? You're just going to drive down the road with it? I'm just going to put it in my pocket. No, I had a bag waiting and I put it in the bag and I didn't even think about, I just feel like it's one of those, when did he take out the knife from the sheath to, did he walk in there with the knife exposed? Or did he not have the knife exposed and then like pulls it out when he got upstairs? I just think that you would know, like, I would know right away that I didn't have that. And I'd be like, fuck. Like, holy shit, this is bad. Right? But now can you imagine if you took the sheath and you had the sheath the whole time, right? And so then you hear this story that it all comes out that, wait, there was a sheath there. And you're like, what the fuck? There's no sheath there. If there was, it wasn't mine. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine whoever did this, if it is Brian, okay, or if it, whoever it may be? Can you imagine finding out that, wait, what do you mean there's a sheath there? I didn't leave a sheath. No, that'd be some fucked up shit, right? Again, this is just only just to start your little, your heads spinning, but no way you would carry a knife loosely in a sheath if you just wouldn't. It's looped on somehow. Or you wouldn't even bring it in there. No way you would carry a knife loosely in a sheath if you were expecting to use it. He would 100% have attached it to his belt. Absolutely. And there's even a chance that it would be attached to his belt But when did he go to like grab it? You know what I mean? When did he decide he was going to grab it? When he starts getting on the stairs to go upstairs, he goes to make a move for it. I don't know. All I know is that I think you would know that it's missing when you were running out of the house with a knife in your hand. Is there any blood drops, going because it's dripping off the knife? Or do you really have your hoodie and you're just putting this knife inside your hoodie pocket or your pants pockets? I can't imagine you doing that. Have you guys ever taken a knife and put it in your pocket? I've never done that. How did he manage to get his print? Well, we don't know if it's his print. I mean, it could be, but I think that that's part of the problem. If you have gloves on, so if you wipe down everything and then you clip on your sheath, when would have anything ever gotten on there if it was all wiped down? Especially like the number one spot that you're going to wipe it down before you clip it would be like the button where you touch it. You know what I'm saying? So then that's where it doesn't make sense, is that if he goes to snap it off on his, to go get it. And I think that would be an Emmy's problem too, to say, how is there DNA there if he had gloves on? When he went to go pop it, his gloves are on at the house to pop it off, to pull the knife out. He has gloves on. So when did he grab the knife? When he didn't have gloves on. And then that's where it leads into the whole, is this planted? And I think it can be argued. I would agree. I can't put it in my head to picture somebody running out of the house with this knife in their hand and them getting to the car and being like, oh my God, wait, where's my, then you go to feel your pants and your sheath isn't there. And you're like, oh, fuck it, I got to get out of here. No. I'm not buying any of this story. But we'll talk about it all later. When did you guys get that breaking news, though? Prosecutors are demanding Amazon. Come on, man. We want all the clicks. Anything that this man, thank you, talked about, looked at, as far as knives go. The clicks. I mean, look at this. The clicks. Oopsies. Clicky, clicky, clicky. Right there. Information demanded from Amazon in May included all detailed customer click activity pertaining to knives and accessories. Well, that tells me that whatever the hell you were looking for before that, big fat, nothing but little eggs, goose eggs coming back. So now we got to go. Let's just check out the click activity. Okay. I guess. Okay. All right, guys. Tonight. See you there. Wild. Thank you guys all for the super chats. Thank you for the super stickers. Tara, what email? Same email you've been using, love. This is bizarre. Why I just not asked for this? But even with click data, there's still no proof it was him that was on Amazon doing that clicking. Yeah. I just think that that's how far, like, man, what if they got his name from when he got the W license plate after? Yep. Can you spin around the cop car with tools? I need to see the front if it has a license plate. Can I come on your panel tonight? Against Daniel. Please, they were following him and lost him for a couple of hours. So super smart dude buys weapons on Amazon under his own name and doesn't expect the purchase to get traced back to him. I know. Love your way of thinking. It makes me think. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. I think it's all just wild. I just don't think you can have it both ways. Lana, please let everyone in the chat on this one. I always let everybody in the chat on what one. All right, guys, until later. Peace out, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. Go get your knives. Go get your knife on.